What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie. Still cold. Took my jacket off. I'm warming up in here. It's like 12 degrees outside in Texas. We don't do winter. This is my top 10 David Bowie songs. My personal favorite songs from David Bowie. Not really any deep cuts on here. Maybe a couple. I was hoping to find stuff that was a little more recent to put on this list, but I'm like, but what do I take off? And I don't. So like the most recent thing is from his last album, but after that we have a huge gap going all the way back to Aladdin Sane, not Aladdin Sane, to Scary Monsters and Super Freaks, Super Creeps and Super Freaks, Rick James, and Super. I'm cold and so I'm getting delirious. But anyways, how do we get to Bowie from Zappa? Adrian Belew, Ainsley Dunbar played on a Bowie album. Yeah, a lot of connections, but we're going with Ainsley. We're going with Belew. It's my favorite of them. All right, I'm just going to talk through them, 10 through 1. I'll put the list up on the screen at the end for you visual learners. Number 10, Ashes to Ashes, Part 2 to Space Odyssey. I just love this sort of, I don't know what it is, space funk, electric art pop space funk. Boop, boop, boop. I mean, just that little keyboard riff, the whole idea of like a part 2 to a song, and then now we're leaning a little more into the sort of like drug metaphor of like someone who's just addicted to something and like on an all-time high. We're getting into the darkness of it even more so than on Space Oddity. Instead of just being this really creepy, eerie, lonely song, now it's kind of a darker song, but that music, just everything about it. Ashes to Ashes. I can listen to that forever. Number 9 off the same album, Scary Monsters, Up the Hill Backwards. Just love this song from the beginning. I think the first time I ever really heard it was, I think, on the Glass Spider tour. Pretty sure I did not own Scary Monsters at that point. And it was like the second song they played, and it was like a whole bunch of people on stage, like they were actors, but just that, it's not if it's not about you. What is the line? I always forget the lines. It's got nothing to do with you if one can grasp it. I love the Bo Diddley intro, and then they go into that really almost kind of folksy sing-along, but it's at the same time just so Bowie. Yeah, it's just probably the brightest, most upbeat song on Scary Monsters, but it fits so well on that album, and apart from that album, it's just such a neat little ditty. Number 8 off Low, Sound and Vision, just that groove. You just want to wish this was like a 10-minute song because you can dance with this, can dance to it all night long. Love that just kind of late night, kind of grooving, just kind of sound. It's a jam, man. Sound and Vision is just a jam. Number 7 is Aladdin Sane. One of those songs that just feels like it's also from another world. That piano playing by whoever is playing piano on this album is absolutely amazing. And I want to give him props. But he just goes kind of weird, jazzy, funky, just all over the place, hectic. Perfect piano solo for a David Bowie song or a David Bowie album. Who is that? Mike Garson, just killing it on piano. Absolutely takes what is already a cool song and just kind of elevates it to the next level because of the piano playing. Yeah, fantastic. Number 6 is off his last album, Black Star, the title track, the opening track, kind of your mini epic station by station type number. And the first part is kind of mysterious, has this ritualistic sound quality, but it's a ritual from a planet or a world or a reality that only Bowie inhabits. And we know there's like mystery and intrigue, and there's something really important about this music, but we don't know because we're not Bowie. And then it kind of dissolves, and there's this like 30 to 40 seconds of segue before we go into the second half of the song. And 4:45, I think, is the timestamp, or sometime around there, when Bowie starts to sing. It is just like, It is like the darkness of the first part gives way to like the acceptance of the latter part, but then still the latter part, we have this like sort of minor, darker energy that creeps in every so often to remind us that we're dealing with like some dark, mortality type issues here. It's just a magical song, and it kicks off that album in such fantastic form. Number 5, Sweet Thing, into Candidate, into Sweet Thing. Yeah, that's one song. I know it's indexed 3 times, but he plays it as one piece. I think when he released it on an album, it was called Sweet Thing, even though we went into Canada, it had Sweet Thing. It's just an awesome sort of slow jam, proggy type thing. Bowie plays sort of a character in Candidate, sort of like, I think putting the candidacy of like a date into the candidacy of a presidency or a politician, and putting those two together and blurring the lines with that, and this awesome weird dun 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 dun, just random jam out of nowhere that gets dropped at the end. We got a guitar solo in here. That just epic, awesome Bowie off what I think is probably his best album, Diamond Dogs. Number 4, Moon Age Daydream. What else to say? Probably the pinnacle, the declarative statement of Ziggy Stardust. I'm an alligator. Just the lyrics, the attitude, that doo-doo-doo, that little weird proggy, psyche middle part. The live versions when Ronson is just going off and going crazy. Seen lots of bands cover Moon Age Daydream, Portugal the Man, Eagles of Death Metal. I know I saw one other band cover this. But every time they do, you're like, oh yeah, that's a great cover. Everybody should cover Moon Age Daydream. Fantastic song. Number 3, Young Americans. Yeah, love it. I'm an American. I was a young American the first time I heard this song, and I was like, yeah, this is America, man. He's got it. The whole opening thing about, he took his, they laid her down. He took him minutes. It took her nowhere. Heaven knows she'd have taken anything. Just like giving yourself up to like a boy because you need attention or you need anything. And next thing you know, you're like pregnant and there's your life. It's just such a devastating song. If you're a karaoke person and you've never karaoke to Young Americans, change that next time you karaoke. It is such a fun song to sing. And right before Christmas, we had like our big end of the year Christmas thing, or end of the semester Christmas program. Myself and a couple teachers went out to do karaoke at this dive bar. And it's like 10:30 at night, so it's still pretty early, but we've had a couple drinks. And I get up to do Young Americans. And this man and this woman from the audience run up to the stage as I'm about to sing. And they're like, can we be your back up singers? And I'm like, yeah. And so random people just sang backup for me. And apparently did choreographed moves, I was told afterwards, because I didn't turn around and look at them. So Young Americans has the power to make a karaoke song, a group sing-along with backup singers, if you're into that thing. Number 2, Station to Station, the ultimate Bowie epic. The beginning of this is worth everything. That just slow, like just stomp and groove live. The guitar, Carlos Alomar, just shredding all over the place during this era. Then you have kind of the upbeat ending about the cocaine and the cocaine. It might be cocaine, it might be love, or it might be cocaine. We don't know. It's crazy. It's hectic. There's a little bit of everything in this. It's an awesome Thin White Duke little epic. And for many, many years, it was my number 1 song. But I would say in the past 10 years, maybe 15 years, maybe not that long, the song I now have at number 1 has moved up. It was a song I always liked, didn't think it was his best. Sometimes if it came on the radio, I might not have listened to the whole thing. But over the years, I have grown to absolutely think it is David Bowie at his boiled down, most concise and simple and straightforward. And that is Rebel Rebel. That opening, dun, 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 dun. Then when the bass comes in later, it's like, and then just the lyrics, which were relevant about a scene 50 years ago, but now are relevant about society today. And, this is an artist who wrote a song in the early 70s that you could drop it in 2024, and it's probably going to have more importance to more people. It's just, she's not sure if you're a boy or a girl, but right now we're past that and we don't care. And Bowie kind of embraced that long before anybody else did. And I think just the simplicity of the song, the direct nature of the song. There are live versions of this where Bowie's at and making background vocals way more prominent and doing other stuff. No, man, no. The studio version is a perfect piece of Bowie pop, rock, art rock, whatever it is that Bowie does. I think it's Bowie's most perfect song. It's not too long, not too wordy. It's Bowie, concise and perfect. Rebel Rebel. That's my number 1. Yeah. Wouldn't have said that 10 years ago, but now I'm confident about that. That's what the list looks like right there in writing. Had to leave a lot of fantastic songs off this list. Young Americans is not eligible because it wasn't on an official studio album, nor any of those weird songs from Labyrinth. Had to be on a studio album. But yeah, these are my favorite. These are my favorite 10 right there. That's what they look like in writing. So anyways, always love to know other people's favorite 10. I will check out songs that if you put something on that list that I don't think is good, I will check it out and try to find why do you think that's a good song. I'm here to like more things. That's my goal in doing this. But that's all I got. I'm going to try to go get warm in the other room. This is the one room we usually don't heat in the winter. We don't have central heat because we live in Texas. Over there behind that door, it's like 75 degrees and it's comfy. All right, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. David Bowie, people. Fantastic, fantastic artist. All right. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and go listen to Diamond Dogs. That might be his best album. That just might be his best album. Peace. Talk to you later.